Section 2. The Workplace. This section includes Workplace Violence Overview, Legislation Bill 168, Workplace Violence Risk Assessment. Workplace violence can take form as physical, verbal, emotional, or long-standing. It is not specific to one single form of abuse. Violence, called horizontal violence, is also a reality in nursing today. Who are the perpetrators of physical violence in the health sector workplace? Commonly, patients and their families tend to be the perpetrators. Colleagues and supervisors are most often responsible for the unacceptably high rate of psychological violence. What is acceptable? The fact that this is seen as a reality does not mean that it should be accepted by nurses or their employers. Bullying and harassment are a form of violence. It is unacceptable and constitutes a fundamental violation of human and legal rights that can lead to criminal prosecution and civil law action. Bill 168. In Ontario, legislation was passed resulting in changes to Ontario's Occupational Health and Safety Act, OHSA, effective June 15, 2010, strengthens protection for workers from workplace violence and addresses workplace harassment. Bill 168 defines workplace violence and harassment and describes employer duties and will apply to all workplaces covered by the OHSA. Workplace violence means the exercise of physical force by a person against a worker in a workplace that causes or could cause physical injury to the worker. An attempt to exercise physical force against a worker in a workplace that could cause physical injury to the worker. A statement or behavior that it is reasonable for a worker to interpret as a threat to exercise physical force against the worker in a workplace that could cause physical injury to the worker. Workplace harassment means engaging in a course of vexatious comment or conduct against a worker in a workplace that is known to be unwelcome. Workplace harassment may include bullying, intimidating or offensive jokes or innuendos, displaying or circulating offensive pictures or material, or offensive or intimidating phone calls. Bill 168 makes amendments to the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Resources and tools for employers and workplace parties on the prevention of workplace violence and workplace harassment can be found at Ministry of Labour and Health and Safety Association's websites. Who is accountable? Employers have a duty of care to provide a safe and healthy working environment. Nurses also have a responsibility to ensure their behavior does not distress colleagues. Tools to support change. In 2009, the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario developed the Managing Violence in the Workplace Best Practice Guideline to provide evidence, informed recommendations, and resources to recognize, prevent, and effectively intervene in prevention and management of violence in the workplace. The guideline includes recommendations that provide support at an individual, organizational, and system level. 4 types of violence are reviewed, including worker-to-worker, client and family personal relationship, and criminal intent. The guideline provides evidence-informed strategies to plan, implement, and evaluate outcomes related to recognizing and assessing the risk of violence in the workplace. How does it stop? One way to stop bullying and harassment at work is by raising awareness. To assess your awareness, please complete the Are You at Risk for Workplace Violence survey prepared by the Industrial Accident Prevention Association, 2007.